Hello, everybody from around the world. Welcome to All For United. I am very delighted, but also quite saddened. Welcoming you here this evening. Before we get into it, I'd like to welcome my two guests, John Silk to, I believe, the left of me, and wonderful Kojo, J Lings, all the way to my man Kojo. And we're just about to welcome Kartik to the stream as well. How you doing, Kartik?
Not too bad. How are you?
We are fantastic and we are live. We're just saying, and thanks for everyone for joining us in the comments. I'm just about to get into it. It, of course, is a very sad day today. As Jacob has just put in the comments, we are discussing the incredibly, I genuinely don't think there are words to describe the passing today of Diego Maradona. Unfortunately, he was, for me, only recent. For my entire childhood, I always said Pele was the greatest footballer who ever lived. I just was bet into me as a child. I've always said this without ever actually seeing Pele play, but he was just always most talked about and celebrated. And then I liked Maradona. The first thing that sort of came to my mind with him was, unfortunately, I guess I was about the right age when he was at the end of his career, and it was just about the drugs, and that's all that was ever spoken about, the crime stuff and all like that. I'd never really witnessed properly the football up until about last year, when there was a special thing done on the 1986 World Cup documentary where it was just basically all about Maradona. And John, can you not hear us? Well, obviously you can't hear that.
Nope.
Well,
we can hear John.
Going.
He can't hear us.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, there we go. Okay, fine. Woo. Yeah. So let's go to Maradona. That John can only stay with us for the briefest time. We'll get around to everyone, but I said I'd come to John first on his thoughts, because John was actually lucky enough to be in, affectionately, if I said to him prior to this, spitting distance of Maradona. And I'm sure we'll get to that when John can actually hear something. This is typical. Normal services will resume at some point. John, can you hear us now?
Yeah, I don't hear anything.
All right, John, I'm going to put you in. I'm going to take you out and put you back in, but I'm going to... Oh, that's the wrong button.
Hello.
Sorry, guys. Hey, John, can you hear us?
John?
No. Okay. John, I'm going to call you because...
Yeah.
We'll bring you back in a minute. I'll bring him back in a second. I'll text him. Guys, for ye, what are your first thoughts on basically the greatest footballer arguably who ever lived? How are you guys feeling today? Kojo, we'll go to you.
Yeah, I'm gutted. Obviously, I didn't get to watch him, so my history is based off maybe documentaries or videos on YouTube maybe, but there is not anything negative you could say about his ability. The guy was a phenomenal dribbler. The caliber of goals that he scored is crazy. When someone passes away, you see everything pop up on social media in one go.
Yeah.
There was a 7-minute compilation of the goals he scored, and I was genuinely gobsmacked at the different range of goals, and especially for someone that was so, in football terms, short, to the leap that he had to win headers as well was incredible. So it's not one of the ones where, when maybe someone passes away and we say they were so great or they were so top echelon. This guy was genuinely, without a doubt, after watching that video compilation alone, my rule is if I haven't watched you live, I can't put you in my top 5 of all time.
Yeah.
He's easily in the top 3, top 2. It's absolutely ridiculous how great he was. Just watching that alone, I don't see anything else. That alone was, no matter the club, no matter the opponent, for his country as well, levels were levels. And on top of that, he was a character. Obviously, growing up in the later years, seeing him more in a managerial role, more in a entertainment role, we were constantly mesmerized by his presence. One way or another, he drew attention, even for the smallest thing. From managing Argentina to just doing a cameo appearance at Spurs, holding up a shirt. Even then, I was like, I wish I was there for that. That's Maradona. So,
of course.
The guy is a legend, and tabloids are gonna be about about the drugs and all that. I ain't trying to hear any of that. The guy lived his life. He enjoyed his life. he was a phenomenal footballer. Let's just think about him in the best sense, and that's what I want to remember him for.
I completely agree with you, Coach. I'm going to bring John back in now. There's a chance that John can't just hear my mic, so if he can't, Kartik, will you ask him questions?
Yeah.
Basically, he said he can't hear my mic. But guys, in the comments, please share your thoughts on, if you're old enough to have seen Maradona play, please go into as much detail as you possibly can, because we want to know everything. And aside from that, just give us your general thoughts and your love towards him, because that's what we want to hear right now. Now we're going to welcome back to the stream someone who was actually within spitting distance, as I said before, the wonderful John Silk.
Hiya, John. Can you hear me?
Hi, Karthik. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you, mate? Joe was just saying that you were actually, he put it so fantastically, as you were within spitting distance of Diego Maradona. Your thoughts on him as a person, as a player?
Yeah, so I mean, the memory that he's referring to was in the 2010 World Cup in Cape Town. And yeah, I was 20, 30 meters away from him. And to give you some idea of the magnitude of the guy, you know, you were watching him as much as you were the game. And it would be the same when he was a fan in 2018, if you remember those images of him in the stand. And, you know, some of them were a bit crazy, and him flailing his arms everywhere. And you know, there's certain memes that are flying around. But those images, yeah, he was a captivating individual off the pitch as much as on it. And I've also spent a bit of time in Argentina, and I know that there's this. Listen, when we think of football and we have all these emotions and we want our team to win, but we also have these iconic figures. There's a reason why they're iconic, and one of them is because they're very talented and they do what we can't do and we'd love to be able to do. But with Maradona, there was something a bit extra, which was also that with Maradona, you had this connection that he had to the people, because Argentina's not a very wealthy country, and he came from a particularly, you know, difficult background, and unfortunately that probably also led to some of the issues he had later in his career off the pitch, if you like, and then also he retired. I mean, it's a tragic story that's come to a abrupt end, sadly, today.
I mean, yeah, you're right in that he had a certain connection with people. I mean, I know Napoli are currently in the process of renaming their stadium. Is it true? I don't know if it's true, but I saw somewhere that Argentina might be, you know, having 3 days of mourning. Is that true as well?
I haven't heard either of those, but I mean, listen, we are talking about. We can have a debate about who the best is of all time, and there's even that classic song that we hear at United about Maradona, Pele, and but Georgie best, and we can all do that, and we'll all have our own opinions on it. But I think it's very clear from what's happened since the news broke around about 5 o'clock today that he's the most iconic footballer of all time, for many of the reasons we just mentioned. But we spoke about some of the things off the pitch, but let's talk about on the pitch. He won a World Cup. I mean, some people have asked, by himself. You know, now I don't think that's completely fair on his teammates. He did have some good players alongside him. 86 is actually the first World Cup I remember as a kid growing up. So I have particular affinity for that tournament, and it's still to this day, by the way, the best World Cup in my lifetime. So I've seen everyone since. I've seen every World Cup since, and none have come close to Mexico 86. And one of the reasons, in fact, the principal reason for that is or was Diego Armando Maradona. Now, from a United perspective, because we are here also to talk about United, there's even a link to United. We played Barcelona home and away in the Cup Winners' Cup in '84. I'm actually just not quite old enough to remember, but I've spoken to people and I've read and listened to people that do remember the game, both as players and fans. And many still talk about it as being the loudest they ever experienced Old Trafford in the second leg when we came from 2-0 down to win 3-2. And there's some great iconic pictures of Brian Robson and Diego Maradona shaking hands at the beginning and exchanging, you know, the mementos, etc. So a funny story, by the way, about Maradona that I probably haven't heard today, and you might never hear again. There's there's a link that he had to Sheffield United as well.
Yes.
Before he went to Barcelona, there was some interest and some possibilities that Sheffield United, he may well have ended up there. And this is not an exaggeration. It was a possibility. This is before he became the Maradona that we all begin to become famous, you know. Then, of course, he had his period at Napoli, and you mentioned Napoli. And I think you cannot ignore the Napoli element. We all know, we probably hear a lot more, I guess, about the Argentina factor and the adoration they had there. But Napoli was almost a match made in heaven for this guy and this player.
Yeah.
Why? Napoli's in the south of Italy. Okay, it's a poorer region. It's in the south. The north is much more affluent. Secondly, there's a huge relationship between Italy and Argentina. There's a lot of people with Italian ancestry in Argentina. So you just have this match made in heaven. And if he won the World Cup by himself, arguably he won Serie A and the UEFA Cup with Napoli by. This is the influence. I don't see Messi having that effect. You know, Messi played along some amazing players at Barcelona, and we all recognise Messi. And by the way, there's a very strong argument, and many people will argue Messi is the greatest of all time. And I certainly think we may well look back in years to come as that's the case. But this iconic status, Messi could only dream of it. He doesn't have that in Argentina, and he never will.
Well, I couldn't have put it better myself. I mean, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. Obviously, I thought today, I mean, a lot of people were putting up their tributes earlier in the day. Before I hand back to Joe, I don't want to hijack the hosting. I just wanted to mention George Best because, I mean, it has to happen. Yeah. I thought it was only fitting that Diego went and joined. If heaven is a place, if it exists, Diego Maradona and George Best are going to have some party up there, and I think that's just a brilliant thought to have. Joe, you can have your show back now.
Thank you very much, Kartik. Skillfully transitioned right there. On Maradona, it came as quite a shock, and what shocked me a lot as well is how young he was.
Yeah,
at 60 years old. Like, I feel like himself and Pele are the same age, or like mid 70s, 80s. Like, I cannot believe that he's only 60 years old. And I saw a great cartoon image of Maradona in heaven and giving God his hand back. And I was like, that is terrific. That is absolutely terrific. And I think Maradona is probably one of two players, maybe Pele as well, but definitely Maradona is the only player that can force a Manchester United fan channel to speak about him. Dedicate the first 20, 15 minutes, whatever it is, to Maradona. So I think that's a testament to him. And I think everything he's ever done in the game will just live on forever. And we're lucky to, I know most of us, bar John, who can't hear me, but we were alive to even be slightly in witness of the greatest player who ever lived. And that extended highlights of his career exist that we can look back on and just be in awe of what an absolute incredible talent he was, and his love for the game was just infectious as well. All his demons aside, as well as, like, we're going to move on to arguably the greatest player in our club's history as well. The two of them had their own demons. They're settled now anyway. But we'll chat a bit about Georgie Best too. Again, another player that is, like, for me anyway, I put up a tweet earlier on today about it being his 15th anniversary and the fact that I'm an Irishman supporting Manchester United, and I'm so happy to laud over all of you that George Best is from my country. Mm-hmm. You know, like, we've had, arguably, for a country with just over 4.5 million people, we've had George Best and Roy Keane, and Dennis Irwin as a bronze medal is not too bad. And growing up with him, it was the same thing as Maradona, where people kind of focused on the drink aspect and stuff he did outside the game. And guys, sorry for ignoring you in the comments and putting up whatever you guys have coming in, but please give us all your thoughts on Georgie Best and Maradona, of course. I think my favorite quote ever about Georgie is from Pele, which I really hope is true, but people tell me, like, oh, it's too good to be true, but I think it is true. Pele was asked who was the greatest player who ever lived. Who's the greatest player in the world? He said, I don't. Oh, sorry. He goes, what's it feel like to be the greatest player in the world? He said, I don't know. Ask George Best.
Yeah, that's a real quote.
But it is, because I said it.
Although I do think George once said that he would be better than Pele if he wasn't handsome.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there's
Well,
that.
That is a
He
great...
did say
and
that.
so
That is a
really-
real quote. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Actually,
That's a great
my
quote.
favorite...
That's a great
My
quote.
favorite real quote, and you can repeat this so John can hear it as well, is he was said, I'd hate... He goes, I was asked would I'd rather score 30-yard... round 5 players and score from 30 yards out to win a game at Anfield,
Oh, yeah,
or bed miss world. He said, luckily I've done both.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, John, you didn't hear that, so I'll repeat the quote. It was that obviously George Best said that he was once asked whether he would prefer going round 5 players and scoring at Anfield or bedding Miss World, and he said he's done both. So
That's
It's very true. It's very true. And here's someone in to ruin my fun. Brendan, thanks so much. Pele's answer depended on the country region he was in. That's what Pele does. No, he's not, Brendan. He was talking about George Best, and that's it, okay? My Georgie. Okay, and Jacob, he's Northern Irish, yeah, but still, it's all the one country, one island, all right? I don't need that right
now it's one island.
So,
Yeah.
Have him.
Yeah, I will.
Now it's one island, is it?
Have him.
Yeah.
When Declan Rice fancies going across the sea.
I was just waiting for that. I thought we'd get through a dedication episode to the greatest players that ever lived, and Declan Rice would not be mentioned. But thanks, Kartik. Thank you for taking that knife and sticking it directly into my heart. Gojo, for you on Georgia Best, another player that we're too young to have witnessed, but we do have a couple of videos. What are your opinions?
Yeah, similar to what I said about Maradona is that, well, especially when I go to games at Old Trafford, one way or another, there is something about George Best that is always mentioned, whether it's by listening to fans talking or whether it's going to the club store and I'm talking to the people behind the counter. Just in general, like the guy has a lasting legacy. That's what you want at the end of the day from one of your greatest ever players. Wore the shirt with pride, scored ridiculous goals. Quality goals. And yeah, honestly, I don't know what else I can add on about the guy. The guy was a legend. He respect him highly, and I think he's one of the players that set the trend also for the number 7 shirt. I know back in those days he used to alternate between 7 and whatever, but at the end of the day he wore the shirt and he did it damn well good, you know. So yeah, all respect to George Best.
Absolutely. And John just sent me a message saying that he has to shoot off now, so I have to give him a wave. We all have to wave. John, thank you so much for coming in.
Speak to you soon, yeah, and have a good evening.
You too.
You too, mate.
Yep.
Thank you. And he's gone. That was just so typical, you know? Like everything is perfect in pre-production, and then he comes on, and then suddenly I can't be heard. I was thinking about maybe just yelling out the window, and he might hear me from there. I don't know what country he's in, but it still might have worked. But yeah, guys, it's a very sad day that we've lost the greatest player, arguably, that's ever lived, and also we're remembering the 15th anniversary of George Best, unfortunately, passing away as well. But this show isn't going to be all doom and gloom. We do have a topic that we're going to get stuck into. Kartik, you are our tactician, the resident tactician at All for United, and what we're going to be discussing is the greatest 11 that we've never seen live. Now, we are all young bucks. Oh, Barry just came in with a good comment.
Oh, young bucks has gone out the window now. Barry's here.
Yeah. Hello, gents. I was privileged to watch George in action and to meet him, the greatest to ever wear the red shirt, the first football megastar. He was called the fifth Beatle for a reason. Dead right, Barry. And thanks so much for joining me. Who has Barry not met? We've never actually met him, so I figure us. You know,
I meant famous people, but sure.
Well, you know, I've crossed 1,000 followers on Twitter, so you know, I didn't want to toot my own horn. But we said we were going to discuss the greatest players that we've never seen live, and that is quite a list, to be fair. And I think we're going to have to go, because of the United channel, I was thinking like the greatest players ever. Well, we can do a shout out to a couple of them afterwards, but I think we're going to keep the 2 players that have played for Man United.
Yeah.
Which I think seems fair, since it is the channel in question. I think Kartik, since we're going back to a bit old style football, Barry, I don't believe you for a second you never met him. The original Welsh wizard, I'd say you have a picture with him on your mantelpiece. It might be his grave, but I'm sure you still met him in some capacity.
Oh my word.
So I was thinking, because we're going classic players, I was thinking we're going to do the standard 4-4-2 for back,
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Why not?
Yeah, is that okay with you, Kojo?
That is good with me.
Yeah, and when we're saying live, I presume we're talking about
as in stadium,
as in the stadium. So, or are we talking about like retired before we were born, or maybe 1995?
Shall we say either we've not seen them in a stadium or they were before our time? Shall we say that?
Yeah, we'll say that. Yeah, we can do both. Okay. And you guys keep your comments coming in. Who you guys would choose? I think a few of you, including Barry. I think Barry might be a bit older than us, so I think like Barry's suggestion of best players never seen live is probably Billy Meredith. For all those who don't know, I think he retired in 1920 something. So Barry, you were like what, 17 then? So, but of course, but I don't know if that counts because you would have heard him on the wireless. But yeah, but yeah, guys, get your comments in, please. And you have someone on your side, by the way, Kartik immediately. Good old Brendan with that's what I do. Hashtag Team Kartik. That's a team of one. Okay. So when we start with goalkeepers, I was Barry. You're always great sports. I was actually 27. Fair fucking play to you. And guys, keep tweeting and share out the link. Kartik, if you would tweet as well. If you wouldn't, Kartik, if you wouldn't mind tweeting on the All for United channel as well. Can you? I'm trying to be subtle. Can you hear me? Is he frozen?
Not again. Oh, not again.
Not again.
Sorry, it's happening again. I'm back now. I'm back.
Oh, for the love of God.
It happened again. I'm back again. I'm back. Don't worry. It's not going to happen this time. Yeah. Right. Kartik, what was the question?
It was more of a sly statement. Would you tweet off the tweet? Would you tweet and just update as we go, please?
Sure.
Yeah, I should have said it beforehand, but I forgot. But in goals, where do we go to? Because we're all of slightly different ages here. Kartik, you were born what, 99?
99, so my pick would be Schmeichel.
Your pick would be Kojo. You're 95, are you?
92.
92. So yeah, well, Schmeichel left United when I was 9. Okay, so I never had the opportunity to see him live. It never came across. Like the first match I was ever at, and the earliest games I can properly remember, we actually had Mark Bosnich in goals, which was misery. Yeah. This was absolute misery. Like I know we were talking about addicts who were excellent at football, but talk about an addict who was fucking shit. And he was at the club twice. We let him go. We let him sign for Villa in 1990, then he came back and it was just miserable, absolutely miserable. So I think Peter Schmeichel across the board. I know that's going to make, especially Barry, but a few of you feel very old. It makes me feel a little bit old too. But I think we have to go for him because he left while I was still, I was still a nipper. While I was still,
He left in what, 99?
99. He left. His last game was the Champions League final.
Yeah, so I was 6 going on 7. The only time I was so close to seeing him was when we played. I forgot what year it was, when we were playing City. When we tried to shake Gary Neville's hand and the whole kerfuffle happened. I was actually on my way to that game with my dad.
Really?
I was on my way to that game, and then this guy driving the car got lost. This guy. I'm not gonna call him my dad right now. I'm gonna call him this guy. This guy got lost. So we turned up. God knows how late. The doors are closed. All right, cool. Go to a pub and watch it there. This guy drove me up to Main Flipping Road to go and see my guy, or was it Old Trafford? I can't remember at this point. Regardless, he flopped me. So,
oh my God!
Yeah, that's him, innit? That's my dad, innit? Shout out him. But
well,
if this close.
Yeah, but if you had seen them, then we couldn't have put them in on this list. So silver linings. It would have been a different one. But is this right? We signed Bosnich. Van der Sar went to Juventus. Did he go to Juventus for free? I know he went in.
I can't remember. He went for free.
No,
fact checking is taking place.
99. Yeah, free seems a bit unreasonable because he won the Champions League with Ajax. Yeah, you do a bit of fact checking, Kartik, and just don't freeze in us. But across the board, we can. I think that's an understandable argument for Schmeichel. Although we were alive, there was no real opportunities for us to go see him, and it'll also make people feel old with us putting him in the team.
He did move in '99, but it was for $5 million.
Okay.
5 million. I think what Brendan means, it was basically free by today's crazy money. You know, like
That's true. That's true.
I didn't even know what we bought Bosnich for. I think it was well, obviously to be in goals, but I mean, like price wise. Well, no matter what, it was an absolute failure. And we got Taibbi in the same year as well. And Taibbi was amazing.
Taibbi was man of the match on his debut. I don't know who you're talking about.
At Anfield. Yeah, I remember that. So good. So good. But yeah, we'll continue on from that. And then I suppose we will go. This would be a tough one, actually. We'll start with right back because we've all got Gary Neville.
Yeah, I've seen him.
Yeah,
I've seen Gary Neville.
Well, enough. I've seen him live. I've seen him in the flesh.
Yeah.
And then before that was Paul Parker.
Haven't seen him.
I haven't seen him. He was
unless we stick. I don't know. Unless we stick someone else at right back and have a different left back.
Well, we could put Dennis Irwin at right back. He could play.
That was where I was going.
But
yeah.
I haven't seen Owen. You guys seen? No, you've seen Owen, right? So
I haven't seen that.
Wait, does the charity game count?
What was the charity game?
Because he played in the one where we played by the reunion.
No,
does that count? I did watch Dennis Irwin technically.
Look, if you count that, then we're kind of screwed for the rest of this, all right?
No, we're not. No, we'll put Irwin at right back. Let's do that.
And I actually have to.
I was going to say Paul Parker.
Paul Parker, yeah. Paul Parker, he won and actually, Keno, if you remember the documentary he did with Patrick Vieira, I think Best of Enemies, whatever it was called, he put Paul Parker ahead of Gary Neville.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I do
in the team. Yeah. And guys in the comments, put your thoughts in on, we're putting Paul Parker, I think, at right back. What I know of him, he was our starting right back when we won the league back in 92-93. And I think Gary Neville basically took the spot from him. I don't know if there was anyone in between. Not off the top of my head. And so he was there for a good few seasons. He was starting right back. I don't think he really ever played for England, as far as I know. But still, it's good enough for us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so Paul Parker, I think we're getting full agreements in the comments. And by full agreements, I mean no one's commenting, saying anything about Paul Parker. So obviously he lives long in the memory. So we go from right back to centre backs.
Ooh,
right.
Where is the cut up? Oh, Barry says ridiculous to put Parker ahead.
Yeah, but we've all seen him.
Yeah, no. I think he means Roy Keane doing.
Oh, Roy Keane. Right,
okay.
Yeah. That's fair. But Roy Keane is Irish and the greatest player who's ever played for Manchester United outside of George Best. So take that, Barry. You've got Gary Bailey, so he's only slightly South African as well. I think it's slightly the same as Barry. Barry's only got a weird second name. That's how South African he gets, and a cool accent.
Hang on, Quinton Fortune.
No, it was left back.
No, I mean like South African.
South African football.
Yeah.
Oh,
sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
Quinton Fortune, do you know that he only won one Premier League title and was there for like 6 years?
Yeah, but Quinton Fortune's Quinton Fortune. Who doesn't love Quinton Fortune?
I neither do I love him. I love his saying his second name as well. It's such a fun name to say.
2003, I guess then.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, okay.
Quinton. Robbo better than Keane. Take that, Joe. Barry, I will take that comment and delete it, you absolute liar. Okay? I will take you out in the second I meet you for real and the first time forever. But I'll take you out. So yeah, Paul Parker. And I think the centre backs.
This could be interesting.
Can't lie.
Are you saying the comment or?
Oh, no. Well, he's a shout, to be fair.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bill Folks.
Yeah. It's hard for me to go back that far. Like we'll kind of get there more midfield and attack, because like of course we get like do we say Duncan Edwards for centre back?
Yeah.
Do we say gotta be?
Gotta be.
All right, go on.
No, it's gotta be, as well as the fact that like we're kind of when you go back that far, I don't think I've ever actually seen, and if any of you have actually got clips that you can share with us of Big Dunk playing, that'd be great. I've never actually seen him clips of him playing.
The only thing I've seen is in that the Busby documentary.
Oh yeah,
documentary film. That's the only thing I've seen of Duncan Edwards.
But you kind of have to go by the reputation of everyone, both in the club and outside the club, saying he was the best player they've ever played against or with. So I think Big Dunk, and he's only 21. I had like 19 caps, 21 goals, or 21 caps for England, and like a nice amount of goals for his position. So I think. Look, Barry, you're really putting to shame here, okay? Martin, I don't.
My word,
bro, like Barry, we have. Do you know what? We have Kojo here fact checking for us, okay, that these players exist, and this is players that like
he did play for United. I'm not gonna lie. 71, 78. He played for Scotland.
I'm gonna bite up my pizza.
I am thinking Big Dunk at centre back alongside Steve Bruce.
Yeah, I would have
that
said that.
was
I would have said Steve Bruce.
Yeah, or Gary Pallister, who as well Keno said. Yeah, Pallister is like the quickest player that Keno. Like I think Keno and Giggs both said he's the quickest player I've ever seen, and like for the younger fans, even than us, who don't know Gary Pallister and Steve Bruce, like the two of them are built like wardrobes. They're just big and tough and strong and look like the sort of guys that would down a pint at the
That's because they did.
That's what they did. Yeah. And Steve Bruce, like it's a thing, and Pallister is seemingly like one of the best centre backs we ever had. Barry, if you can get in the comments, and Jacob and the lads and Brendan get in the comments about that. Who you guys would pick to go alongside Duncan Edwards, whether it's Steve Bruce or Gary Pallister. That's who we're looking at. So we would like you guys in the comments to decide that. For me, apparently Pallister was more skillful on the ball and actually a better footballer. But like Simon Frankfeld, captain Aberdeen and United. Yeah, we're asking you about a different player, Barry, if you wouldn't mind. But like Steve Bruce captained us to our first title in 23 years or 27 years. So like, which one do you go with?
Well, put it to a poll.
Put it to a poll.
How about that?
Yeah, why not?
I'll get on it. We love a poll at All for United.
We do. We are a big fan of polls. So
I love winning polls. Oh wait, no, I didn't win the poll. Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah. We have a history of doing quite badly in polls. So I think we'll put that to a poll, and Barry is saying that we should actually have Duncan in central midfield, but like as far as I've read, Barry, he could play along the back line and in midfield, so we're going to put him in our centre back position. So we're going to put it to Steve Bruce and Gary Pallister for one side, and then the other side is Big Dunk, and then we get to left back.
We know who that is. We gotta know who that is.
Well, yeah, I would say Bruce and Pallister, aka Dolly and Daisy. I've never heard that nickname for them before, but I have to say I'm falling in love with it.
Yeah, left back's easy.
Well, it is for you guys because I don't know if I've seen Dennis Irwin play before. 2000, he left in 2000 and did he leave in 2002? Yes, I think he left in 2002. For the fact that I can't 2002 because he signed for Wolves. Or did he leave in 2001?
I'm pretty sure it's 2001, was it not?
Did I check that out?
Let's have a look.
You guys need to get with the program with me and Neil. You guys are
it was 2002. Sorry.
Yeah. Barry, like I said, if yourself and Neil were on the show, they're the only players that would have you be talking about are people you heard on the wireless and not that you've actually seen or had the possibility of seeing. Okay, we have to go for who
you're on about.
Yeah, we have to go for slightly more relatable players. 2001. Thanks so much, Brendan. He left in 2001. So yeah, I can count that because I went to United actually, I think 2001, 2002. So he would have been gone by that point. So I did not see Dennis Irwin live. So our back line consists of, in goals, Peter Schmeichel, right back, Paul Parker, one side of centre half is Duncan Edwards, the other side is either Steve Bruce or Gary Pallister, and then our left back is Dennis the Menace Irwin, which no one has ever called him in his life. What I love about Dennis Irwin is he was sent off once in his career. And that's
one more than Marcus Rojo.
That is scary fact, yeah. He was sent off. I was wrong, it was 2002. It was 2002. But yeah, no, that's fine. It's he was sent off against Liverpool in the treble winning season. But he was sent off for getting a second yellow card for not kicking the ball back. He was running down the wing and the ball went out of play and he didn't know, and the whistle went. He didn't hear the whistle and he was playing on, and then he got called back and got yet a second yellow card and sent off. For that was the reason. But it was rescinded like the following week. So technically he got sent off, but it didn't count. And that's why I can imagine a left back who can score goals, assist, tackle, do everything. And people try to say that Ashley Cole is better than him. Absolute bullshit.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
That's just not wrong. Dennis Irwin was around today. I just couldn't imagine. He doesn't look like someone who could survive today. As in, like, just by he looks like he's a 50-year-old man his whole life. I can't imagine him being around today. And if he was, he would be worth 250 million, no doubt whatsoever.
Oh, ridiculous money. That's a separate video in itself.
Yeah,
what would players of that time be worth now? That's a ridiculous
infinite. So we move along now. So we have our backline sorted in close enough. And guys, please sound off in the comments and get your thoughts in. We'd really appreciate it. Who do we have
also
covered?
I'd just like to say, viewers, I'm not being rude. I'm actually tweeting. So
yeah. No, say you're tweeting for the channel. Don't just say you're tweeting.
Oh, that's what I meant. I'm tweeting for the channel. Sorry, I'm updating. I'm bringing in more viewers.
Because I was just like, I'm not being rude. I'm just tweeting. I was like, that sounds pretty rude, Carter.
Sorry, I'm just tweeting about my day. Anyway, midfield. Carry on.
Yeah, Coffee's doing a good thing. I'm just,
That looks like a better thing, to be honest. Eating some pizza.
I'm ordering. I'm going to order one in a bit. Don't worry.
Oh, fuck. I want to order one. I want to order one.
Yeah.
So we move on to right midfield.
Bex.
I've seen him.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I mean, we could stick best on the right.
Yeah.
Can we? Are we going to get in trouble for saying that, guys, in the comments? Because this is where we kind of fall flat. Is that we know these players kind of play in these positions, but we don't know where they played like week in and week out. So for the fact that Bex is number 7 and we're getting given out in these comments, and I don't even care. Well, the comments on Twitter, you guys are very, very nice in these comments. But we're going to go with, would we be destroyed, whoever's watching, for putting George Best in the right wing? I'd imagine it's playing number 7. That was his.
Yeah, I mean, some people might try and put him forward because the only person I can think of other than that is Kanchelskis.
Yeah, but I know
you can't have Kanchelskis.
No, we would be murdered, lads. We would not be allowed to leave our houses.
Yeah, you can't have Kanchelskis.
Yeah, the array of talent that we've had at our club, and we put Kanchelskis in.
Let's put a bit of respect on Kanchelskis' name.
Wavy, man.
I completely get that he's a good player, but lads, like,
let's not pretend he's shit.
Yeah, like, I'm not saying he's shit, okay, but like, there's no part of me that thinks it's a good idea that people won't attack us for doing that.
Man.
Clicks.
Okay, look, Barry's coming in now.
Views.
Best place up front, not in midfield. That is heresy.
Oh, we're not going to put him up front.
But like, we have to put him in somewhere. So Barry, who is you?
Right, we're playing 4-2-4. We'll push the wingers up. Fine. Best is up front now. He's playing right wing.
Okay.
Barry, you're in the comments. Where did you guys might know actually? Where did McGrath play?
Centre back.
And what about
centre midfield?
What's this guy's name? Whiteside.
Norman Whiteside was up front.
Oh, Whiteside.
We've got Whiteside as well.
We will get to there. We will get to there. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. So central midfielders. Am I too afraid to ask? Is Bobby Charlton allowed to go there?
Yeah, of course he's allowed. I want Robbo in there. I don't know about the two of you, but I didn't see Robbo.
Oh my God! I did not see him either.
He's actually the one player that if I could pick any player that I could watch, it's Robbo.
I agree.
I feel so jealous of anyone who got to watch Robbo.
Seems Man United played 4-3-3 in the European Cup final. Yeah, I was just like, what?
433 players. No, to be fair, back then United sort of played a sort of just attack and a defense. We never really played a balance sort of thing. It was that was the beauty of Busby's way of playing. But yeah, Robbo in that midfield, please.
I also I should have said this earlier on for Paul McGrath. McGrath is Irish, of course. He is one of the greatest centre-backs in Irish history and also had Roberto Baggio in his back pocket for USA 94 when we beat the reigning champions 1-0. But also he played for United for a few seasons. And unfortunately, he had his own demons as well with alcohol. And that's what stopped his career progressing to where he should have been, because he should have been our starting centre-back by the time he won the league, which we would have won earlier if we still had him. So definitely a great shout with McGrath for centre-back. I just feel that his career didn't go where it should have gone because of his own issues. And Bruce and Pallister were there longer and also won stuff with him. So McGrath definitely a shout, but we'll stick with between Bruce and Pallister. So centre midfield with Robbo, 1000%. My dad always says it's the greatest player who's ever played for Man United that he's ever seen.
Yeah.
Barry, I think, does say the same thing that you've ever seen. Get that in the comments, Barry, if it is true.
Fun fact: my lecturer actually was at United's academy, and he got to play in I think it was a youth cup game while Robbo was coming back from injury, and he got to play with Robbo in that team, and he was saying that it was one of the best experiences of his life playing in that game because it was sort of just like the example he led is fantastic.
Yeah. Aidan, can you give like examples of that? Did he?
Well, I could point you towards my podcast, Joseph.
On
my channel. No, to be fair, I'll tell you. He said it was a sort of presence he had is what really made the difference to him. Because obviously coming through the academy, he said he was. By the way, this is Alan Tong. He's a fantastic guy. He's done loads of research on mental health in the game. He was saying that Robbo was coming back from an injury in this game, and literally the first thing he saw him do was go through players, like just 2-foot tackles everywhere. And he was saying is that kind of energy is what he aspired to become, and it just had an impact on everyone around him. And he said he was one of his idols as well. It was just such a big moment for him. So I think that should tell you in itself that not just us as fans, it was his teammates that thought he was one of the best players that they've ever seen. One
of my favorite things, and a couple of weeks ago, you could see Barry just saying best first and Robbo second. That is more than fair and very high praise from yourself, Barry. That we had on one of our last episodes of the topic, we discussed Man United's greatest ever captain. Barry picked Robbo. I picked Keno, and Neil picked Bobby Charlton. We'll get to Bobby Charlton, but with Robbo, I remember watching videos on him as just leadership wise. And he said that when they were looking to buy Roy Keane, it was actually Robbo who said, you need to buy him. You need to go. And even though he would have taken Robbo's position, he was like, it's the best thing for the club. It's the best thing to move us forward. Says like he was whatever, past 30, past his best. He was still able to give so much of the game, but like going forward, we needed Roy Keane, and Robbo knew that, and that just is a testament to why he is probably. Although I won the vote that day, haha, Barry, he is still probably the greatest captain in our history. What's this comment from Brendan? You guys, do you know there is a website out there you can watch all these matches back, right? Oh, even all the Champions League, European finals back in the.
I appreciate that. If you could drop the website, I can't promise I'm going to watch every single match back.
Yeah.
But
Kojo,
please.
If anyone would appreciate that, it is you and that crazy, insane mind of stats you have. So anything that you can get to add to that, Kojo will appreciate it. Not sure if allowed links, but search for, what is it? This is for everyone anyway. Not sure if I'm allowed links, but search Footballia. Yep, great shout. Thanks so much for that, Brendan. Greatly appreciate it. Robbo this is a great comment from Barry. Robbo was not surrounded by the same excellence that Keane was. Absolutely dead right. And it'd be a different argument for best captain if he was playing even further, like whether it was the 90s or even 2000s or what we'd give to have him back today. So Robbo is one half for midfield, and we're going to be shocked by who's the other side of that midfield is?
No.
Wait, say that again? Sorry.
The other half of the midfield, we're doing two in midfield, Robbo and a certain knighted gentleman.
Oh, are we talking about Nobby?
Oh, the other knighted gentleman that's still alive. Sir Bobby Charlton.
You could stick him up front.
Are we going to stick him up front?
I thought it was a striker.
He's a number 10.
Okay.
Yeah, so that would be, because if it's 4-4-2, 9 and 10 is.
Okay. We'll put Sir Bobby up front, and we'll find someone else for midfield.
I was going to say, the only two I can think of is, I mean, I haven't seen them. To be honest, I haven't watched much videos of them, but from what I hear from older United fans, so I'm just going to take this on hearsay. Nobby, Styles, and Paddy, I can't say his last name.
Paddy Crane.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Apparently, those two were colossal. As in,
I'd say Nobby.
So, yeah, if whoever you think is better, I'll go with it because I definitely haven't seen them. So
yeah, I would completely agree with you. Considering we are, oh fuck.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah.
Where did Lou Macari play?
Oh,
Lou
Was he in
Macari.
midfield?
Lou Macari's up front. Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be hard now. How good was Lou Macari? Because I don't know. I haven't seen anything of him. That's the problem.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say Nobby just because I've seen more of Nobby than I did Lou Macari.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think with, I think Nobby Styles, considering that we talked about him in great detail over the last couple of weeks since his sad passing away a couple of weeks back, and I think with everything he added to the game and the fact that he was such a battler and a World Cup winner and a European Cup winner and really fought for everything on the pitch and was, as Bobby Charlton often said, he was one of the greatest midfield partners you could hope for. I think definitely it's Nobby Styles alongside Robbo, and that midfield would be incredibly difficult for anyone to get past with especially their knees intact. So I think definitely the two of them. So then we move forward. We have 4 strikers, and we've got on one wing, I think definitely was it Barry's with a great comment here. Macari was bought as a striker, later played midfield. Does not warrant a place in your team. Great guy though. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, nice little shout.
Doesn't deserve the team, but he was nice though. Yeah, he was
He was a good guy. He was a good guy, our Lou Macari.
He owns a fantastic chippy, by the way.
That's right. Yeah,
that chippy is brilliant.
Whereabouts?
Wow, it's right around the corner from the stadium.
Oh,
yeah, by Bishop's Place.
Oh, I haven't really paid attention then. Shit. All right, I'm going to check this out next time. Right.
Yeah. It's very nice.
You should definitely go. Definitely go. It's very nice.
Cool.
But I think the first name, if we're going, well, we've already mentioned 2 when we accidentally put them in wrong positions. I think on one side it is 100%, as we spoke about earlier on, the 50th anniversary of his passing is today, and that is the greatest man to come from my island, and that is George Best. I think he is like the same thing. If there's one of the few players that when you look back at their highlights, and especially when you see it in color, I don't know why it makes it feel a little bit even more real. What he could do now, back then, could he as well be replicated right now? And it's just unfortunate he lived at a time when players would like as effectively take out a gun and shoot you to stop you from getting past them, to doing anything, and he skipped by them as if they weren't there. Some of the goals he scored were absolutely phenomenal and unmatched, and just for his size and his physique, for surviving in the game and to become one of the greatest players ever. It's just, we're so lucky to have him at the club, and it's so Georgie Best. I no one has an argument against that, and please guys put in the comments.
Is that for the right wing? Yeah,
we'll say right wing. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll have that. That's fine by me.
Yeah. Perfect. And then in the middle, I think for me anyway, it's as mentioned before, Sir Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We have a stand named after him. I don't think there's very much more we can say about that. Unbelievable. And then beside him has to be Dennis Law.
So I'm showing my age here, but I just said Cantona.
Oh, I never saw Cantona.
Oh. And I was never did I. Never did I.
Oh, that's a tough
Barry's
one.
going to kill us if we don't put Dennis Law in there.
Dennis Law is a statue, but Cantona won us titles. Like,
hold on, wait. Didn't Dennis Law score the goal that?
Yes.
Relegate us.
Yeah, you see, I understand he was a wonderful player, but you relegated us in Man City. Get the hell out. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, I think that was. Oh, we're gonna.
The man has a statue outside our ground.
I'm being petty. I'm just being petty. That's what it is.
You just want Cantona in. You just want Cantona in.
I do.
Gotta be Cantona.
I'm so sorry, guys. You're gonna kill us, but yeah, I think. Well, and also Stuart throws this in that Law was he was a Ballon d'Or winner.
He was. Yeah, but I know, Barry, I'm awake, but I told you, relegation. So you know what it is? It's agenda time, isn't it? I'm being one of those Twitter people right now. That's what I'm doing. I'm being one of those Twitter people. If you want to abuse me at Coach Kodro, I mean, I don't tweet from there no more, but you can go into my notifications.
I'm atting you in the tweet. Don't worry, mate. I'm blaming this on you.
Yeah, if Dennis Law, if we're going to leave it to Kojo, I'm going to say Dennis Law. Kartik, you're saying Eric Cantona. So coach, yeah. And we know Tommy Taylor, of course. Barry, on another episode of the topic, Barry put him down as our greatest ever striker. I won that week as well when it went to Ruud van Nistelrooy. You can look back at that video and check out every reason why Barry feels he is our greatest ever striker. I think it's a good, obviously a great shout. Unfortunately, passed away too young for us to really celebrate him. But he's always worth mentioning. So absolutely, Tommy Taylor should be up there. But it has gone to... Okay, Stuart has said we were going down regardless of Law's goal against us. Well, 17 versus 80,000 and then debate, which... Yeah, but look at that for another day, Brendan. But that's definitely a great idea. And then we finish our team with the left side. See, the problem is for our entire life, that's where Giggsy played.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know?
Right. I'm willing to compromise here. I know I'm starting to do out of position here. So either we do one or two things. Either we put Dennis Law up front and then we move Cantona to the left, even though I don't want to see him there. Or my other shout, because I've actually seen videos of him and I was damn impressed, Steve Coppell.
Ooh, Steve Coppell. Yes. He is a fan favorite from that era, and he was with us for a good few years.
Yeah, that's another thing I can think of. My dad had this when we had VCRs, he had a video cassette of United old players, and I remember watching that video over and over and over again. And Coppell was one of them ones I was like, slightly want to play like him. So when I used to go and play football at school, I used to try and think about how he would do things to try and play.
Really, Steve Coppell?
Yeah, him and
that is fascinating.
Him and randomly enough, Pavel Nedved were my wing heroes.
Pavel Nedved.
Yeah, they were my wing heroes. So I used to try and model my game off those two. Such
random two people. Pavel Nedved he turned us down to go to Juventus, so ouch. But Nedved, I love that guy. I love Pavel Nedved when he played. He was great shout. And Steve Coppell is a very odd choice, but I completely get your reason, you know. And
he was a great winger.
He was a legend of a player. I think he had the record for most games played in a row for what club. I think Frank Lampard took it over from him, or else someone took it over and then Frank Lampard got it off him. I think Lampard had the record.
I've just thought of someone.
Who?
Lee Sharp.
No, yeah, but that was
good.
That light shined not bright enough for long enough, you know. Steve Coppell was at a bad time for us. Barry and Brendan and Stuart and whoever else was alive at that time, give us your thoughts on Steve Coppell as we see out this. But I think Lee Sharp is a good shout, and he was great for a couple of seasons. But you want consistency there. A lot of Cantona to end up. Fair. I get what you're saying here, but we're looking to get people in their best position. Going from Cantona.
I say we just go with Law.
Well,
just go with Law.
We'll just put them anywhere. They'll sort themselves out.
Fair enough.
I'm pretty sure a front four of George Best, and Bobby Charlton, Eric Cantona, and Dennis Law can figure themselves out.
Yeah.
And that's our resident tactician. And how's that Twitter poll looking to decide who is our?
Let's have a look. At the minute, it's Steve Bruce with 64% of the votes.
Ooh, so the team. Is there a time limit on that? When's that finish?
There's it's 23 hours, but
yeah, we'll just call it that.
Yeah.
So
we'll call it team.
Cool. Our team of players that we've never seen live, started from goalkeeper to attack, is in goals Peter Schmeichel, right back Paul Parker, centre back Steve Bruce and Duncan Edwards, and left back Dennis Irwin. Two midfielders are Brian Robson and Nobby Stiles. And then our four-man attack is on the right side, George Best, then Bobby Charlton, then who was it? Dennis Law and Cantona, just having a laugh there, figuring themselves out. Bobby Charlton can play anywhere. I'm sure he'd put himself out on the left. And for a final question, guys in the comments as well, who is our captain?
Robbo, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's Marvin, more than fair. More
Captain
than
Marvin
fair.
was a thing, you know what I'm saying?
And the manager that we never saw, we're going to have to go with, I suppose, David Moyes. No. We will go
Sadly enough, I have seen him. I wish I could say I haven't, but I have seen him, and it disgusted me.
And we're so sorry. We're so sorry to hear that. So Sir Matt Busby is the manager, and I think that team would take some beating. And unfortunately, I wish we could have seen them live, but in lies the rub. So guys, that is our podcast for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us throughout. Please leave comments and share the videos and get your thoughts in on basically our team and your thoughts on Georgie and missing out on Maradona today. Thanks so much for joining us. Make sure to like and subscribe to All for United. And
we're going to win the Champions League.
We're going to win the Champions League. Thank you so much, guys. It's been a pleasure.